Hello everyone. Today, I'm going to show you how to create a simple and effective ice sliding effect in Unity. First, we start by creating a physics material in Unity. This material will help us control how slippery or rough the surface is, which is essential for simulating the ice effect. By adjusting the friction values in the physics material, we can make the player's objects slide smoothly, just like it would on real ice. Now, we will create a script and add a trail renderer to our cube. The script will handle the player's movement by applying forces to the rigid body component, allowing the cube to slide realistically. Meanwhile, the trail renderer will create a visual effect behind the cube, showing a frosty trail as it moves, enhancing the ice sliding experience. We set the trail renderer's time to 1, so the trail lasts for 1 second. Then, we create and assign a blue material to it to give the trail a cool, icy appearance. We choose the shader type of the material as standard unlit particle. This shader allows the material to appear bright and unaffected by scene lighting, which is perfect for creating a glowing, icy trail effect. Now, we can start writing our script. We declare a public float called forceAmount, which controls how strong the applied force is. Then, in the update method, we check if the WA or D keys are pressed and add the corresponding directional vectors to our force variable. After that, we apply the total force to the rigid body using the addForce method. To add some visual feedback, we use a trail renderer component attached to our cube. This creates a trailing effect, like the ice is leaving a frost mark as the player slides. We read input from the keyboard, the W, A, and D keys, to move the cube forward, left, and right, respectively. Instead of instantly changing the position, we apply a force in the direction the player presses. This gives a smooth sliding feel, just like on ice. But we don't want the trail to always be visible, only when the cube is actually moving. So in our code, we check the rigid body's velocity magnitude. If the velocity is above a small threshold, we enable the trail emission. Otherwise, it's turned off. Yes, that's all for our script. It's a simple yet effective piece of code that handles the ice sliding movement and controls when the trail appears. Next, we'll be adding post-processing effects. These will help enhance the overall atmosphere of our scene, making it feel colder, brighter, and more immersive, perfectly matching the icy environment we're aiming for. While testing, I noticed that there's a small mistake in our code. Let's go ahead and fix it together so everything works smoothly and our ice sliding effect functions exactly as intended. Now, let's test it again to make sure everything is working correctly and that our ice sliding effect looks and feels just right. Now, to make it look even better, let's add a particle effect. This will create small icy sparkles or snow-like particles around the sliding cube, adding more visual detail and making the ice effect feel more dynamic and realistic. For the particle system, you can either follow the exact steps I'm showing you here, or customize the settings to your own preference. This way you can adjust the look and behavior of the particles to match your vision for the ice effect. I'll keep it simple and create the particle system with the most basic settings according to my own preferences. However, you can customize it however you like, adjust the size, color, lifetime, or even add some special textures to match the icy theme we're going for. The important part is to make sure the effect blends well with our trail renderer and overall scene so that it feels natural and visually appealing. Now, let's run our scene and see how everything looks together. Alright, now we've reached the final part, adding some post-processing effects. These effects will really bring the scene to life by enhancing colors, adding bloom for that icy glow, and giving the environment a cooler, more immersive atmosphere. Let's jump in and set up the global volume with the right post-processing overrides to complete our ice effect. We're going to experiment with color adjustments, vignette, and several other post-processing effects to craft a visually appealing and immersive atmosphere for our scene. By carefully tweaking parameters like temperature, tint, contrast, and saturation in the color adjustments, we can shift the color palette towards cooler blue tones that evoke a chilly, icy feeling. Adding a vignette effect will subtly darken the edges of the screen, drawing the player's focus toward the center and enhancing the overall moodiness of the scene. Additionally, effects like bloom can add a soft glow to bright areas, making the ice look shiny and reflective. while chromatic aberration can introduce subtle color distortions for extra visual interest. Vignette darkens the edges of the screen to focus the player's attention towards the center, adding a subtle cinematic effect. With these effects combined, the scene feels much colder and more immersive. Thanks for watching. If you want, I can also show how to make custom shaders for glowing ice trails or more advanced particle effects in future videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.